Welcome back to my channel. I tried to film a bit of this yesterday, but it just really wasn't happening. It's just I've had to start all over again. So I'll explain everything that's been going on, why it was going wrong. But I'm starting all over again. So it's currently Thursday the 21st. Is somebody at the door? Someone's at the front. It's not a good start, is it? Right, it's Thursday the 21st of January. I think it's my husband, so I haven't got to worry. It's not somebody ringing the doorbell. And I'm going to tell you what my next plan is in a moment and why everything was going wrong. But I just want to mention a couple of things before I get going. I'm wearing my Billy sweatshirt dress that you might have seen already recently in that glittery Lorex I bought from Sewing Street. What else? Oh yes, I want to say hello to a little boy called Samuel. Now, I chat with his mum. She watches my channel, and she's a Mandy Shaw fan like I am, and basically Lindsay has got into dressmaking because she watches my videos. Well, she blames me for it, and she sits and she watches my channel with a little boy Samuel, and she said that Samuel has recently subscribed to my channel, and I just wanted to give him a shout out and say hello, and I just think how sweet it is. And what reason we were chatting is because I had an email from YouTube saying that I'd reached 500 subscribers, so thank you so much for all my current subscribers and anybody new here. And basically Samuel has said to his mum that I deserve 70,000 subscribers, and he wants to help me get there by subscribing to my channel. So I think it's a bit of a tall order, Samuel, getting to 70,000, but your subscription, that means a lot. So thank you so much, Samuel, and I just wanted to say hi to you. I also wanted to mention hello. Hi.
Bin bags, my bin.
Under the kitchen sink. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have had to cut a little bit out of that then. I just saw the door waving around, and it's my eldest son, and he just wanted to know where the bin bags are. So, and there I am doing the shout out. He's probably like be asking me about it after. And I also want to mention, I've wrote notes here so I don't forget, the Yorkshire Sew Girl. That's Ruan is her name, and we follow each other on Instagram, and Ruan I think she found me first and watches my channel, and I watch her channel as well. And I just wanted to mention to her, she recently made, now she's posted this on Instagram, the Fibre Mood Rear, right, and she's had to make it 10 inches shorter. That's what she said. And she said, can you spot the mistake? And in all honesty, I really couldn't see it. And what she said has happened is, because she's shortened it 10 inches, she forgot to shorten the pocket bags as well. So she said the pocket bags are hanging out the bottom. Now, I couldn't spot that. I couldn't spot the mistake at all. But I wanted to show her these. Now, these are some really, really old shop-bought shorts of mine. And I just wanted to say, look, the pocket bags, they hang out the bottom, look. It is a style, So if anybody asks, Ruan, you did it on purpose. You could even look what they've done. I think they've done a bit of dye on it, look. So it could be a bit of a design feature, can't it? But these aren't very fashionable now, I know, because they're a bit too low-waisted and short. Everything's all up by your belly button and a bit longer these days, aren't they? But yeah, this is when it was all low-waisted. But I hang on to these things because you never know, they might come back in fashion, and they're quite useful when you go on holiday, aren't they, when it's like scorching and things. So what I'm working on, I think that's everything I wanted to say before I get going. Now, I wanted to do a bit of a tutorial style of things, but it just wasn't happening. I don't think, oh gosh, I know I do show you how to do things sometimes, but generally mine is about having a chat with you, isn't it? So when I try and go all like professional mode, it just it just doesn't work. I just don't think I've got it in me to be professional, although I do try. So I'm just going to just try and go on about it in my normal way. Now you might notice I've got my little dog mannequin. I haven't had that long. You might have seen this already if you've seen one of my previous videos. Now what it is, how this project has come about is this. I wanted to make something for my dog's birthdays. That was on the agenda because I always like to make them something. And I'd also got a bit of the tartan left from my Burns night outfit that I recently made. If you watch my last video, you'll have seen it already. I basically was given 80 centimetres of tartan in a bag. I've had it that long, I don't even know who gave it to me. It might have been my auntie. Or it might have been a lady that my mum knows, yeah, I've had it a while, and I just wanted to do something with it, so I tried to see if I could find a pattern that I could use this 80 centimetres of fabric, and I did manage to make basically a mini skirt out of it, and I had a bit left, and I got a collar to go on an Ondi sweater, you know, with a pyjama top that I basically chopped up to make it. And so I'm sorry if you've seen that already. I'm going on about that again. But I'd still got a bit left. So Debbie Davis, who watches my channel, she said, oh, what, I can see you making dog things with it, like a dog bandana and thing. And then it kind of got me thinking, because I wanted to use that last bit of fabric up and I want to make something for my dogs. I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them something matching, and they're going to match me, aren't they? I don't know if I'll go out like it, walk down the streets with my outfit and the dogs. I don't know, maybe I will, I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. So I had this wise idea to make covers that go on the collars. That was the first thing I thought of making, and but then this was one of the things what happened when I wanted to film yesterday. I couldn't actually find my dog collars anywhere, because my dogs wear harnesses when they go out because they've got very delicate necks, so I don't tend to use leads on collars anyway. And my youngest son, he's very soft-hearted, and when he sees the collars on the dogs, because I do put very lightweight collars on them with identification, not their names, it has normally my phone number and address and things, so if they went missing, someone knows who to phone or where to bring them back. And my youngest son feels a little bit sorry for them in these collars, and he sees, you know, they have a bit of a scratch and things, and he takes them off, which is fine, he takes them off. So anyway, when I wanted to do this project, I couldn't find their collars because of all that big hoo-ha over Christmas and moving everything around. We just couldn't find, I couldn't find the collars anywhere. And I know I've got collars, you know, other ones, because I used, you know, I've had ones for different outfits and things that they wear. I make them sound like children, the different outfits. What it is, I've got chihuahuas, and they are quite fun to dress up, and they do feel the cold, so you might as well have a bit of fun with it, mightn't you? You know, if your dogs get a bit of a chill and they like their clothes and things. So yeah, I kind of just make the most of it. And when you sew as well, it's like quite a fun combination. So I ended up having to go out and buy collars yesterday, which is actually quite nice because I wanted something plain and matching. So I've popped one of them onto the dog mannequin, and actually Rafe, if you've, like, some of you will have met Rafe before, he actually wears it on the smallest hole, and Holly, I've tried it on her and she just wears it the second hole along, and that suits her. So basically you need to, for this project, you do need to have a collar that you're going to use, and you have to basically do a bit of working out. Now I've got this book called Pampered Pooch, so I had a little flick through, and what's quite nice is there is a collar cover in this book, so I haven't got to like work it out myself, but it is all in centimetres. Now most of my viewers are in the UK anyway. I've got a small percentage of people outside of the UK, but what I might do is, I know some of the workings out in inches in my head, but if I can't remember them all, what I'll do is I'll do a blog post about this, and I'll put the measurements in inches in the blog. I don't know if I'd get myself into trouble putting the information. I don't know how much of this I can put on my blog. I don't know really. I don't know how it works. But I suppose if I'm putting measurements in inches and these are in centimetres, and when you do a conversion from inches to centimetres, often they're not exactly the same for the best working out. So it'll be a little bit different, won't it? So, but I've done it based on this. Now, I don't particularly like working in centimetres usually, because all my rulers, because I'm a patchwork and quilter, I work in inches basically. I don't think you can see that, but I work in inches. But I don't mind working in centimetres when I'm going to be basically using a ruler which has centimetres. Oh, sorry, I'm not. Oh, it was resting on my ruler. I didn't realise. Sorry, it's probably. Was it wonky before? Hang on. It's gone wonky now. Let me straighten it up a minute. I've probably straightened it. No, it doesn't. It's dropping. Maybe my house. I can just see that you can see a bit more calyx there than you can that side. Hopefully that's not too annoying. Well, I've got a ruler. This is my We Are Memory Keepers ruler that was going on about the other. That was what that thing was after. Remember I said I found a load of things in here? That's what this is off. Because what it is, I found this and I thought I recognise that and I just don't know what it is, what it's off. And it wasn't until then I needed this ruler. I thought, oh, that's what it's off, because it's got another one on. And then I didn't know where this was. So, but then I found it live on while I was filming. So I'll pop that back on now, actually. I've got this ruler. And basically it's got inches on one side and centimetres on the other. So I don't mind working in centimetres if I can basically draw a paper pattern that I've got to cut out. So that is what I did. So I've ended up drawing a piece for Holly and a piece for Rafe. That's the fabric on the back, look, pinned on. You only need one piece for this, basically, which is really simple. I have cut some more pieces out. There's another project in here where you make a Dickie Bow. I don't know if that's what you call it in America. That's what I've always called it. And you need 2 pieces of fabric, and then, is it 2 of these? It might be 2 of these. I'll have a look at that in a moment. But I think a Dickie Bow that big, because it's only going to have, like, say, a centimetre seam or 3/8 of an inch seam all the way around there, and then you're going to be cinching it up. That, I'll have a look on this dog, actually. I don't know, it depends, I suppose, how dramatic you want it to look. I might end up cutting this in half and making a small one. And I don't know if I'm going to make a Dickie Bow for both dogs. I don't know if I'll make the Dickie Bow for Rafe and then maybe something a bit more floral looking for Holly, like being the girl. So this book is so cute. Look at the picture on the back. Isn't it cute? Like, I've had it ages. It's called Pamper Your Pooch. It's called. So let me have a look. It's near the back, the project that I did. Well, I say I did, I haven't actually done it yet, but I'm going to be obviously piecing videos together. So that's the picture of the covers on the in the book, and what it says you do is you measure from the D-ring to the hole that you use to fasten the collar and add 2 centimetres. So I looked at these and the D-ring on mine is here, but I've got this on it, look. Can you see that, where you thread your bit through, look? It's going to come through there. Oh, I can't do it. I might have to forward this, hang on. Yes, I'll have definitely had to forward that, but I got it through. And so I'm only going to measure to this bit because it's only going to be going out as far as that. Well, that's what I've done. I've done the measuring already for both dogs. And you're going to add 2 centimetres. Let me have a look, actually. Is if you were doing it in inches, you've measured your collar from the hole to the D-ring. Add 3/4 of an inch. That's what I'd say if you want to work in inches. So then you need to measure the width of your collar. Now, the collars on here, they're all very flat, where mine are very rounded. So I had to kind of go round mine a little bit, and I decided that the width of mine was 1.5 centimetres. And then what you do with that, you double it, which got me to 3 centimetres. Then you add 1.5 centimetres. So that got me to 4.5, did it? Is that what I've said? Well, I don't know what I've done, but I've ended up cutting mine at 5 centimetres wide. I don't know if I just did my maths wrong or so, I don't know, right, but that's what I've ended up doing. They're 5 centimetres wide. So I suppose if you were doing it in inches, you'd measure the width of your collar in inches, double it, and then it wants you to add 1.5 centimetres. Now that's 5/8 of an inch. I know that much, so add 5/8 of an inch, and that's your other measurements. So I hope that's making some sense to you if you want to convert it. Right. And that's basically what you need. But then obviously you do need more measurements again because it's telling you how much you fold over. So basically you draw that onto paper and you get a paper template. And then you're going to use that to basically put onto your fabric. And then it says the next stage is you're going to turn over a seam on either end onto the wrong side. And you press it with an iron. So in centimetres, it's telling you it wants you to fold over your short ends by 1 centimetre, and then it wants you to stitch it at 5mm. So if you were doing that in inches, you would fold over by 3/8 of an inch, wouldn't you? And then what would 5mm be? Is about just under 2/8 of an inch, I'd say. So maybe you turn over your ends by 1/2 an inch, maybe, and then and then stitch, say, 2/8 of an inch away from the end. It's going to be there or thereabouts, isn't it? Right. So then you've got your turned over edges. So it's basically, so you've got that top stitching along the edge like that. Then I'm guessing you're going to be putting right sides together. So yeah, so you're going to be then, this is non-sided fabric anyway, so I think it is, so I can do whatever I want. So when I've hemmed the side, I'm going to be putting it right sides together if you've got like a fabric that you need to do that. It tells you to stitch a 1 centimetre seam, which if you're working in inches, that's going to be 3/8 of an inch seam, isn't it? I'm sure that's right. I'm sure 1 centimetre, yeah, 1 centimetre is 3/8 of an inch. Then you're basically going to trim that down by 1/2, and then you're going to, it says you could use, it says you either overlock it or trim it down basically by 5mm, but I'll say by 1/2 because that's what it is, and then use a narrow zigzag stitch to finish the seam. That's what it says. So then I'm guessing you're going to turn it right side out. So it says turn right side out using a loop turner or a good old safety pin, and slip it onto the collar. Then gently iron and steam it open, take care. And basically that's it. So I'm going to go away and do that. I'm not going to go and do it this moment because I'm always saying this to you, but I've got to go to the co-op. So yes, I am. I'm going to the co-op again. It's on my road and it's so convenient. And I do have anxiety, believe it or not. And I like just getting in there, running around and getting back out. The thought of going to a big supermarket in the winter with corona and they're making you queue outside in staggered bits and stuff, it all fills me with dread, right? So I just feel like I just want to run in my local co-op where everybody knows my name and I can run back out, and I just feel a lot more happy with that. I'm probably paying more money doing it that way, but you know, I'm quite savvy when it comes to buying food shopping. I look at prices of everything and I won't let myself get ripped off, you know, kind of thing. So I am going to be doing that, but basically when you next see me, hopefully I will have 2 covers, and then I'll either tell you what I'm going to do next, or I'll do a bit of the decoration and then I'll tell you what I did to make it. So I'll be back in the next bit, hopefully with some covers for my dog's collars. Okay, see you in a bit. Right, I'm back for the next bit. Right, the time is, it's 6:10 in the evening now. Same day, obviously same outfit on, but I'm coming on now because I'm desperate to get my pyjamas on. So this is probably going to be the last filming I do today, but I've got something to show you. And ta-da! So I've got a little dog collar. This is a Rafe's one, and this is Holly's one. Now, I know it probably has looked like it's all gone swimmingly well, but unfortunately it didn't. It was horrendous, right? Now, please don't use those measurements. Well, it all depends. I don't want to say don't use those measurements that are in the book, but they might have just used like a thinner cotton fabric, and maybe they didn't use an overlocker. I do not know, but have I got any samples? I've got a couple of pieces here. Basically, this was Rafe's one, the one I made first. I had a lot of trouble turning it through, but I did get it through. That's great. But then I just couldn't get it onto the lead. It just wouldn't go. I even had to use my Vario pliers. I got to, do you know those Vario plier things that I bought before Christmas? I actually got to use them because I had to make a tiny hole. See that there? So because I tried threading yarn through this hole to try and yank it through, but even it just wouldn't go. Once you got to the thicker bit, it just wouldn't go. So I had to scrap that, right? Then I knew this was going to be a bit troublesome. So is this the smaller? Oh, this is the smaller one. That must have been Holly's one then. So when I tried to cut the overlock stitches off this one so there wouldn't be as much bulk, but then it was just coming undone. What have I done here? So let's have a look. Yeah, it was just coming undone then. Oh, I could have reused this actually. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and I could have just ripped it over, couldn't I, and start again. But I suppose it was too narrow, so I couldn't. So I had to go back and cut more fabric. Now I cut it probably a little over 1 centimetre thicker than I did before. See the template that I made before? I'd cut them 5 centimetres. Say, for my collars, I ended up doing probably six and a bit width. The only problem I had when I got to Rafe's, I couldn't cut it out that long because I just didn't have enough fabric to cut out a long piece. But as it happens, it looks okay. He isn't missing much either side. And yeah, it does look really lovely, isn't it? So yeah, so I don't know if it's just because I was using this tartan fabric. It was really very thick. I used overlocking stitches, and I even tried to do you know all these clever little things you can do for turning things inside out when they're narrow? Do you know when you can't really use a safety pin? I've got little tubes with wooden things. That wouldn't work. I tried doing the overlocking, like a long chain, and then pulling it through that way. That wouldn't work, it was breaking. I tried putting sewing ribbon in and pulling that through. That was just ripping out. So I will admit it was a troublesome project, but I'm sorry, seem quite calm actually, because when I made them, my husband wanted to nip out and get this bracket thing from Argos that he'd done a click and collect. So I went after I'd finished them. I went out, I stayed in the car, I didn't get out, and then I've come back, and luckily my eldest son, bless him, he'd started the dinner, because he came with me actually to the co-op early and helped me choose dinner and helped with the shopping and things, and he'd started the dinner, because I was thinking, oh, we've got to get back now, got to let the oven heat up and everything, and got back. 3 boys were sitting there in the kitchen, the oven was on, food in the oven. I was like, oh, I'm not needed. Oh, I'll go and sew. No, I didn't go and sew, but you know, it's quite nice, isn't it? So yeah, so that's what's happening at the moment. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my pyjamas. My husband's busy doing whatever it is with that bracket. The boys are all busy doing whatever. My husband said he's watching football at 8 o'clock. So what I'm probably going to do is, while he's messing about down there now, doing his bracket, I'm going to get in my pyjamas. I'm going to tidy up them. It's just a mess on here now. Do you know, with everything I was using earlier, it's just absolute mayhem. With this is like the yarn I was using to try and pull it through. There's just stuff everywhere on this desk. So I'm going to have a nice tidy up after I've got my pyjamas, and probably think about what I'm going to do to put a little decoration on. I'm going to do them removable, so I'm going to put elastic on them, so it'll be a nice little decoration. And then if I want to just use these as their regular collars, I thought it's quite a nice idea actually, because I've had collars for my dogs in the past. Do you know, ones that look like leatherette kind of thing? Like, these are actual real leather, these collars that I got from Pets at Home. But sometimes they've scratched them, and then the leatherette kind of all starts coming off. I don't know what would happen with real leather ones actually, I'm not too sure. But it does offer them a bit of protection, doesn't it? So then if they kind of scratched away at them, when they kind of get a bit, you know, a bit torn or a bit worn, you could just make another cover, couldn't you? So I think this is going to keep their collars going a little bit longer. I don't think Rafe has ever damaged a collar, but I know Holly certainly has in the past. So yeah, so that's what's going on at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. I'm really sorry. I really hope when you saw the first bit that you wasn't doing it as going along as I was doing it, and then you've had a mishap. But I think if you'd use something a bit thinner, those measurements might have been okay. But I think it's best to be it's best to have plenty of fabric really, and if it doesn't work out, it's not too bad. But when you're working with some tiny scraps you've got left and you desperately want this project to work, it's not all that good, is it? Anyway, actually, before I go properly, I'm going to insert a clip from yesterday when I was trying to do this video, and basically you hear a bang, and I'm like, oh, you see my scared face, what I look like when I'm in shock, and I'm thinking, what on earth was that? And the other one wears it up to the second hole. Because what happened was, my son, he'd knocked his phone out of the bedroom window. It come down off the porch and hit my window, because it's a bay window here. And if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll know that I've got a moat. A man-made moat out the front. It's, you know, a temporary thing. It's footings basically for when this room is getting extended out, and it's absolutely full of water with all the rain we've had. And he couldn't find his phone, could he? And I was ringing it. It just wasn't ringing. It was in the footings, wasn't it? Imagine it, deep footings, full of water. Anyway, the phone actually surprisingly worked when it first came out. We left it in a bag of rice all night, and unfortunately it's not working. Luckily we've got a spare phone that he's been able to put his SIM card into, but yeah, the phone, I think it's just scrap. It's such a shame, isn't it? So there you go. You know, it's just one of those things. He hasn't had much luck, has he? You know, with the laptop and things. I don't know. Did I don't know if I told you in my videos. I could have known my son was scammed. I think I might have told you in a video. My husband has given him the money to basically. He's bought a second-hand laptop for his for college and things, even though he's not physically going to college. But yeah, so he's got the laptop that he wanted. But obviously, my husband is a few pound down now because obviously we still haven't had any money back yet. Well, any more money back yet. So we'll just see what happens with that. So anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. What I'll probably do is I'll pop back on tomorrow and I'll let you know where I'm at that point, and see, and I'll let you know what I've done and things this evening and how I did it and things. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Okay, welcome back to the final piece of my video. Please excuse me, it's Friday morning. It's Friday the 22nd of January. It's absolutely freezing outside. It's horrible. I know I've got enough food in and everything for the day, so I don't know if I'm going to go out. Obviously we're in lockdown, and the only thing we probably could do with is toilet roll, but there is extra toilet rolls down in the garden room, so I could just go down there and bring a few up here. So, you know, I'm thinking, oh, shall I try and put off going out? Maybe I'll just walk. And actually my husband has got to pick up a prescription from the chemist today, so maybe me and him could have a little walk down there, or just me if he's too busy, and get the toilet roll and get his prescription. Maybe that's an idea, isn't it? Force ourselves out there for some reason. So I've finished the little dog collar project, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. I haven't put them on the dogs yet, but what I'll do is when I've got some photographs or some footage or something of them wearing them, I'll put them on another video, or they'll be on social media or something, so you'll get to see them in them, but you'll get to see them modelled by the dog today. I've got a couple of things on my lap. I did show you this fabric before. This is the, it's called the Cozy Colours, and it's like a sweatshirt in fabric. I bought this from is it Frumble Fabrics? I was getting mixed up that name, and they're in Birmingham. They you can book appointments to go there, but they're generally an online business. But obviously I don't know where. I don't think you'd be allowed to book an appointment now, not with what's going on. I am a little bit worried about them actually. It's Matt and Monica that have that business, and I got quite a heartfelt email from them. It wasn't to me personally. I think it was lots of customers and things saying about like the tough year they've had and things. Like I know everybody has had a tough year, but yes, I'm a little bit worried about them actually. So I'm hoping that they're okay. I've met Matt, but I've not actually met Monica in person. So yeah, that's where I got this from. I have seen how I found out about the Cozy Colours. It was through Guthrie and Garney sold it, and that's when I first found out about it. And that actually there was out of stock at the time. But since then, I've seen Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door. She also stocks the Cozy Colours. I've not actually purchased from Andrea yet, but I've only just found out about her actually this month. I've actually found out quite a lot of people this month actually. I think I must have spent more time digging around online and things, I think. So what the plan is with this, I thought I hadn't got this pattern, and I think I have got it. Let me see if I can see. It all depends on the stretch and things. Let me see what it is. I might have to forward this while I find it. Bear with me. Right, I did buy it. I think I've showed you this before, and then I think Karen from So Little Time mentioned it, and I was going, no, I haven't got that pattern. So sorry, Karen, I have got it. I get confused sometimes. So yeah, it only needs 20% stretch. Shall I test the stretch now? Where's that fandy dandy ruler I've got? Do you remember this one that I showed you that I found out through Judy from Running So and So? Right, let's have a look. Shall I get some pins? Test the stretch. I might forward this a bit. Well, basically, I'll tell you what I'm doing. You put a pin here and put a pin here without stretching your fabrics. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, really stretching that really hard, I'm getting it to 40. So yeah, that's going to be fine. Yeah, so I've not made any of Nina Lee's patterns before. So this is totally new for me. So I'll let you know how I get on. I think I'll probably make the dress because looking at the amount of fabric I've bought, I can't remember what I got exactly. But yeah, that's what I'm going to make. So that's exciting, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to, obviously I'll trace everything out. I'm one of those, I trace. You know, I won't twirl or anything. I think you're quite good to go with a jersey. I don't twirl with jersey usually. So, but it is a good idea. Do you know the project that I recently did? The Ondi sweater version A with the short sleeve, and I used an old pyjamas, you know, that's okay, isn't it? You know, but I did kind of know it was going to be okay, because I've made the Ondi sweater version B before with the different neck and the long sleeves. I do think it does look quite fitted on my bust on my video when I looked at it. But and especially the other Ondi, because I did a pinstripe, so it kind of like goes like this. But I could just make sure I've got like the thinnest looking bra, and I think that's the style of it. I think it is meant to be quite fitted on the bust, the Ondi sweater. It's quite a fitted sweater. I think that's what attracted to me. Sometimes it's quite nice having something fitted, isn't it? So yeah, so that the safe button sweater, that's probably going to be my next dressmaking make. Right, I've been doing a bit of repair. I'd got one tiny seam come apart on my son's poof. Now, you've never seen this on YouTube. I did make this while since I've started doing you. Well, I've done YouTube a long time, but I just put some of my really old videos on private, you know, and you think, oh, some of them are just really like pointless, really. But so yeah, I think I've got ones like sewing ones like from like 7 years ago and things, you know. But it was before I'd ever even watched people on YouTube. I just was like posting, you know, my embroidery machine in action and stuff like that. So I did make this while I've been a YouTuber, but I've never shown you. If you've followed me on social media, you probably will have seen it. And I made a patchwork poof. I know these are quite trendy now because I think closet core patterns, closet corner, there was closet case, they've got a poof that's meant to be for using dressmaking fabrics. I made this like a long time ago, but actually I'll try and put some photographs of it. I made it for my son. It's in my son's bedroom, so I'll put some pictures and whatever in there of it in its heyday kind of thing. But obviously it's so what I've done is where it came apart, I've just gone on top and I've done a zigzag stitch, but I've done it on all of the centerpieces. So I'll just show you that now. I didn't use denim thread, I have used something wide, but what I'm going to do is, well, it doesn't look too bad actually, does it really, that I've done that? So, but what I'm going to do, because this has had a lot of wear, you know, they sit on it, they put their feet on it, they put stuff on it, you know, it's you know, and it looks pretty good. I used a Robert Kaufman dressmaking fabric denim, you know, for the main body of it, and I used quilting cottons for the patchwork pieces. I think I did a foundation paper piece patchwork to make this, and but it's funny, isn't it? It's the denim bit that started to go kind of thing. But what I've got somewhere, I know when I've been in Mandy Shaw's clubs and things, I got a big red button. I had a look, I don't know where it is, I'd have to go looking for it, but Mandy's, they're out of stock on Mandy's website at the moment because I nearly bought one just in case I couldn't find it. But the plan is I'm going to put a big red button in the middle just to cover that little bit up. But I have noticed, actually, I made a bean bag inner the same shape. I did basically. I made this and then I worked out, and you know, if I've got a photograph, I'll put that on the screen as well. But the only thing is, what I learnt from this project that I took to my husband's bean bag. Do you know the football bean bag that I made him quite recently? I did that differently. I basically used a massive sack for the inside of that, about 10 meters long, and put the beans in. So you can kind of ease the beans in like this. But that thing I made for this project, it was solid. So I had to make, I remember I had a lot of trouble getting it in. Does that zip come undone? I ended up having to put a couple of zips in the bottom just to try and get that in. But what I've noticed with the we had a split in it and some beans came out, so it's lost its oomph a little bit now, the inner. So what I'm going to do is because the closet core poof, they suggest you stuffing it with all your scraps of fabric. So what I'm going to do, you know, a load of jersey scraps and things. And do you know, recently I dug some stuff out my wardrobe. Let me get it. I dug these things out my wardrobe. I cut this off. Do you know, I think this is a top I've had, right, bear in mind I'm 40. I think I was about 13 or 14 when I bought this, and I've still got it. It's a bit shocking, isn't it? But it was just, I was only really using it when I went abroad and just to go over a bikini, and it's okay, you know, it lasted okay. But I've ended up now cutting the buttons off it, and I was going to make some pants out. I was going to make that thong, it was one of the ideas, a thong out of it that I made. I can't show you photographs of it because I didn't photograph the thong, but you have seen it on YouTube. It just wasn't enough. So I don't know if I can get any other pants out of it, I don't know. And I tried to get the thong out of this. My husband bought me this online from Boohoo, and I never really liked it. I've cut the sides off. I didn't really like it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it just, it doesn't look too, I just didn't like it. Really, I just don't think it's sat right or anything. So I just thought, see if I can repurpose anything. But what I might do is stuff a few of these things in first, then put my beanbag in it, or the other way around, put the beanbag in and then stuff some extra bits in. And then if I ever want to dig them back out, think, oh, I need a bit of knit or something, I can dig them back out, can't I? So that's the idea with that. So I hope you've liked seeing my poof. I would make more of these. Obviously this is a lot more work than the closet's core poof. You know, it's kind of similar, like you've got like the triangles and things and the bit, but obviously I've pieced this and quilted it as well. So maybe if I make more for their family, maybe I'll make the closet core one instead, because it'd be a bit quicker than this, wouldn't it? But it is effective, isn't it? So yes, I'm really pleased with that. Anyway, so I'm gonna show, oh actually I'm in my Juno pyjamas by Tilly and the Buttons. You've seen these before. They don't look too bad on screen, in all honesty, but this was the organic cotton Tilly and the Buttons fabric from the Craft Cotton Company. But it's only, look, it hasn't been through the wash much. I haven't worn them all that much, but they really look faded. The fabric basically didn't look good when I pre-washed it. I actually pre-washed it twice and it looked worse. So it didn't look in great condition when I made it. But because I was making a pattern I'd not made before, I thought, oh wow, well, if it doesn't work out. But it turns out I absolutely love them. So it's a shame really, isn't it? So yeah, and this fabric, even though where I've used dark thread, it looks like the thread's coming through, but it's not. It's we can see the bottoms. Look, I've got white pants on as well, and you can kind of see. I'm sorry I'm in my pyjamas. I have done my makeup and I have done my hair that I've just got to let down, but I was in no rush to get out this morning, you know, lockdown and cold weather, you know, and I'm on the case with homeschooling, checking every hour, you know, work is getting done and things. So here we go. I'm going to show you the boys' collar first. So here it is. So what I've ended up doing is I've ended up putting it on a brooch pin. Basically the boat, I haven't ended up doing the bow tie out of this book because when I did cut the pieces out, that's meant to be the centre and that's meant to be the bow tie, but I'll show you the book just in case you want to remember it. And I suppose that's how big it's going to be, but I've got chihuahuas, and the it's elastic. They put elastic on it as well, and I did put elastic on it to start with, and I just didn't like it. It just really stood out, this white elastic on the collar. So I thought, no, I'm going to put a pin on it. And what I ended up doing is I ended up cutting mine in half, and I used then one piece as the bow tie bit. Imagine that. So my pieces, 2 pieces were that big, I sewed all the way around, and then I scrunched it up there, kind of thing. And then I did keep this as it is, but they tell you to only fold it over by 5mm either side and hem it and then wrap it round. But I ended up folding it to much more to the size I thought it looked best with Rafe's bow tie, and I ended up cutting length off. So these measurements are no good really. So I don't know, shall I do a bit of a blog post about it? I don't know really. So I don't know if I'm going to do a blog post about it now. I'm not too sure, but I hope you've seen it. I think it looks pretty smart, doesn't it? I don't think it's going to be the last of these collars. Holly's one slipped on a lot easier than Rafe's one. It did. So what my plan was is probably to make different ones and keep swapping them over. But I think you'd have to be quite generous with your seam and things, because you want them to be loose enough. They're quite easy to get on and off. But Rafe's, I did slide it in without having to use any tools when I remade it. But it was, had a bit of, trouble pushing it through, but I got it on. So and actually, shall redress him into the girl version. Obviously, the collar's going to look a bit bigger. This dog, I think, is closer to Rafe's size in neck. Holly's a little bit sturdier than Rafe. You're getting a little glimpse here, aren't you? Holly's looks a little bit more rustic than Rafe's. So I don't know if I ever made it again, if I would do something a bit different for her. But there you go. I've done basically, that's her collar. And I've done a little rosette look. And basically, I've took a strip of fabric. I did write down, actually, the sizes. But I've left them over there. Hang on, bear with me. Right, I'm back. That wasn't my notes with the size that I cut. I kind of remember I cut a fabric strip that was 8 inches, and I think it was by 2. Yeah, it was 8 by 2. I remember now. And did I cut 2 of those? I cut 2 of those. 2 8 by 2 inch strips. And then I sewed the 2 short ends together so you had a tube. Then I basically just chose a side, it didn't matter which, to do a gathering stitch. So I weaved in and out, in and out, in and out, pulled it together so it ended up in a circle look like that. So that's what I ended up doing. And then you can put something fancy in the middle. But I think something bigger probably would have looked better really. But I'd got these wooden bone buttons, and I thought, I've got to use that. So that's what I've ended up doing, putting that on there. So you can and that's pinned on as well. So I could basically put it on Holly and see where I want it to sit. You could have it sitting round the back, couldn't you? I suppose you have to I'm never going to use these as a lead when I take them out, because I've got harnesses. So obviously if you were using it as a lead, you've got to think about where you put it, because when you're walking your dog, that D-ring's going to come back, isn't it? So that's where it would sit, on the side. So if that's where you'd like it, that's great, isn't it? But bear that in mind. It's going to move. But then usually you find with dogs, that's normally the weightier bit when they're in the house, and you normally find that ends up dropping round to the front. That's what I found anyway. So I really hope you've seen what I've made for my dogs. I'll definitely get some photos, I'll definitely get some footage, and and I'll start filming again soon. But obviously what I'm going to do is make sure I finish piecing all these together and cut out any dead bits that you don't need to see. And I'll post this up and hopefully start filming again with what I'm getting up to. There is something I have been doing that I haven't mentioned, but I haven't done much of it. My one of my very close friends bought me a kit to make a paper cat for my birthday in last October, and I've started making the paws. Basically, the cat is grey, and the paws and the inner ears are white. So I've started doing the paws and the inner ears, but apparently it took a 12-hour project. That's what my friend said. I've spent probably 15 minutes on it, that's it, but it's going to be a bit of a slow burner, like whenever I feel like doing a little bit of work on that. So yeah, maybe I'll show you a bit of the process of that. But what it is, I've been doing it from bed and in the evening, and my husband's there, so I don't really think my husband probably wants to be filmed sitting in bed kind of thing. He probably doesn't particularly like me crafting there, in all honesty. I think he'd rather just me sit there watching the telly, but I get twitchy fingers. I find it really difficult just to sit there watching some programmes. Some I can, but others I just like feel like I want to be doing something. So anyway, I'm going to go now. I really hope you've got some enjoyment out of that, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.